Hey everybody, this is Zachary Levi, and you're listening to MegaPodTastic.
MegaPodTastic. Good morning, MegaPodlings. Krazy Joe here, and yesterday I released a video in which I did a ranking of the 21 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe up till now, worst to best. And as promised, I am going to do the same for the DC Cinematic Universe. Now, when I say the DC Cinematic Universe, I mean the film series that began with Man of Steel, the films that take place in that shared universe. So I'm not going to be counting things like Tim Burton's Batman or Richard Donner's Superman or the Green Lantern movie. Only stuff in the shared DC Cinematic Universe. Now, there are less films. The Marvel Cinematic Universe was 21 films. The DC Cinematic Universe only has 7. So this is going to be a much shorter video. But here we go. Worst to best DC Cinematic Universe. Now, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I did point out that I like them all. I like them all. So when I say Thor the Dark World is number 21, that does not mean I don't like Thor the Dark World. I still kind of like it. I just mean it is the weakest of 21 films. That is not the case with the DC Cinematic Universe, because the movie that I am about to hold up and tell you is my number 7 is a film that I seriously I don't like it. I got so many problems with it. Number 7, worst film in the DC Cinematic Universe, Man of Steel. I do not like this movie. I don't like it. Oh man, do I not like it. Henry Cavill, who would later redeem himself. Let me tell you, I want to see a Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill. I like Henry Cavill. But I like him from what we've seen after this film. In this movie, he is just a broody, uncharismatic bore. Not his fault. It's the story. It's the director. Who do we blame this movie for? I blame Christopher Nolan, the director of the Dark Knight movies. I also blame David Goyer. Christopher Nolan and David Goyer came up with the story for Man of Steel while they were shooting Dark Knight Rises. Zack Snyder was hired, but he was just a hired hand. When he came on, he was the point-and-shoot guy. This story was already ready to go. Goyer and Nolan came up with the story, then they hired Snyder to direct it. So this movie we can't even really blame on Snyder. This is the fault of David Goyer and Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan may have been right for Batman. He was not right for Superman. This film is dark and bleak, and it doesn't have any of the hope, and it doesn't have anything you want from Superman. And like I said, Henry Cavill is a broody bore in this movie. He doesn't show any charisma whatsoever. Again, he redeems himself later in the franchise. The biggest sin of this movie, a lot of people got upset about Superman killing General Zod. Spoiler alert for a 2013 film. A lot of people got upset that Superman killed Zod. That doesn't bother me in the least, because Superman killed Zod in the comics too. There was a whole comic book series where Superman killed Zod. Superman killing Zod is not without precedent. That doesn't bother me. What does bother me more than anything else is Jonathan Kent's death. In Superman the movie, 1978 Superman the movie, he dies of a heart attack, and Clark learns a lesson that even with all his superpowers, there's some things he cannot stop, and a human death, a natural human death, is one of those things he is powerless to stop. In this movie, Jonathan Kent dies a completely pointless death that is easily stopped, and he just waves Clark, no, don't save me, let me die. And Clark Kent lets his father die. Clark Kent is also told early in the movie by Jonathan Kent. Jonathan Kent gives him a hard time about saving a kid on a bus, and Clark says something like, well, should I have let him die? And Jonathan says, maybe. This is not Jonathan Kent. Man, I don't like this movie. There's also a scene at the end where young Clark in a flashback is seen running around with a red towel around his neck like a cape. Who's he imitating? When kids wear a red towel around their neck like a cape, they're imitating Superman. So he is Superman, but he wasn't Superman yet. So who was he imitating? This is not a good movie. This is not a good movie, and it set the whole DC cinematic universe off on a very, very, very shaky start. This is the worst film. And let me tell you something. The worst film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Thor the Dark World, has it all over this piece of crap. That is my number 7. Coming in at number 6, Suicide Squad. This movie, unlike Man of Steel, I do like this movie. It has a lot of problems, but it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's a fun, dumb movie. Harley Quinn is great, and Will Smith is great as Deadshot, and I think the standout in this film, for me personally, is Jay Courtney as Captain Boomerang, who has an obsession with pink unicorns. That was hilarious. And they missed a gag in this movie. There was a gag in this movie that they missed. It should have been in the movie. At the end of the movie, when the Enchantress is kind of showing them all their greatest desire, we should have seen Captain Boomerang riding on a pink unicorn. And I can't believe that they set that gag up and then dropped the ball towards the end. But yeah, I kind of like this movie. It's, it's got problems. It's got a lot of problems. But ultimately, it's fun. So I did enjoy it. It's my number 6 pick, Suicide Squad. Coming in at number 5, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. This is a movie that I have said many, many times. I really like this movie with caveats. The caveats are that it is a direct follow-up to this piece of crap. And as such, Superman is still wildly out of character. We're still getting the same dark, broody, non-super Superman. But I can't really blame that on Batman v Superman, because it's following up this, and this set the continuity, and this is just following the continuity. So, got a lot of problems with this movie, and the problems are all in the depiction of Superman. Ben Affleck makes a heck of a good Batman. We get our first appearance of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She is fantastic. The other Justice League members, Aquaman, The Flash, Cyborg, are introduced in a very organic manner, so it doesn't feel shoehorned in. It could have easily felt shoehorned in, but the way they were files on a computer, it just made sense. So it did not feel like it was like stuck in there. It worked. So I really, really like a lot of this that this movie has to offer, but Superman is still terrible in it. However, the movie does end in such a way that allows them to reboot Superman, essentially, and that is where Superman starts to shine, but we'll come to that later. So that is my number 5 pick, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. All right, coming in at number 4. And this is where the DC Cinematic Universe really starts to shine. Those 3 films we just saw were very much influenced by the tone Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan and David Goyer set forth in Man of Steel. And that wasn't working. It really wasn't working. So when David Goyer... Well, David Ayers did Suicide Squad, but there were still problems there. But when Zack Snyder stepped away, and Batman v Superman is the final Zack Snyder film in the DC Cinematic Universe. As soon as Zack Snyder stepped away, things started to change dramatically and got a lot better. Then we come to number 4, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. This movie was the first film in the DC Cinematic Universe that really blew everybody away, and deservedly so. It's terrific. Gal Gadot is perfect in it. It is so good. And in any other list, this could be number 1. The fact that it's not number 1 just speaks volumes to how good everything got after this. So number 4, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. Terrific movie. Can't wait to see Wonder Woman 1984, the sequel. Really excited. Number 3, James Wan's Aquaman. This was just out at Christmas time. This was so good. I can't believe it was better than Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman was so good, but James Wan is a heck of a director. If you've ever seen the Conjuring movies, if you've ever seen Insidious, but usually he does horror films. Horror films are his specialty. So the question was, how's horror film director James Wan going to handle a superhero film? Beautifully is the answer. Aquaman is terrific. So much fun. Jason Momoa is great in the role. Patrick Wilson, who's a frequent James Wan collaborator. He was in the Conjuring movies. He was in Insidious. He plays Aquaman's brother Orm. He's terrific. Black Manta, easily the best villain in the entire DC cinematic universe. Can't wait to see more of Black Manta and Aquaman 2. So this is a fantastic movie. Some people were saying at this point that the DC cinematic universe was dead. Ho ho! Aquaman proved that wrong. It was the first DC film to hit $1 billion. Great movie. All right, my number 2 pick. And this one shouldn't be too much of a surprise because it is directed and partially written by the creator of one of my all-time favorite TV shows. That is Justice League. Joss Whedon stepped in for Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder still gets screen credit as the director of this movie. Zack Snyder is not the director of this movie. This is a Joss Whedon movie from start to finish. It feels like a Joss Whedon movie. It's got dialogue, the Joss Whedon dialogue that we've come to expect and love from Joss. It's all here. The final battle, you can tell Joss Whedon directed that because it looks and feels very much like the final battle from Avengers that Joss Whedon directed. I think Joss Whedon has directed 3 superhero movies, Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Justice League. I think this is the best of the 3. And when I walked out of the theater, I said, that was better than Avengers 2, but not as good as Avengers 1. Then something happened. I rewatched Avengers 1, and I realized I was putting Avengers 1 on a pedestal because it really was a game changer of a film. But in retrospect, this is the better film. This is the chemistry of the characters is terrific. These guys play off each other so well. The whole cast has great chemistry together. And this is the movie that really showed what a great Superman Henry Cavill can be, because when he comes back in this movie, he is not the broody, charmless guy that we saw in the last 2 movies. He is Superman. He is as much Superman as Christopher Reeve ever was. He's terrific. This is the first movie that gets Superman right in this franchise, and it really, really leaves me wanting to see Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill very badly, so long as Zack Snyder does not direct it and David Goyer goes nowhere near the script. So this is my number 2 pick, Justice League. I love this movie. And my number 1 pick, Shazam. My God, was Shazam great. Best movie in the DC cinematic universe. I knew this movie was going to be something special as soon as I heard they cast Zach Levi. Zachary Levi is perfect for the role of Shazam. You couldn't get better than him. You're casting a 14-year-old kid in a grown man's body. You're not doing better than Zach Levi. Then I started seeing images of the costumes that leaked out very, very early. The costume looks spot on perfect. It looked like he stepped right off the page. I saw this at the sneak preview a couple weeks ago. It is a really, really special movie. It is funny. It is charming. This is everything you want it to be. I can't wait to see Shazam 2. I want to see Shazam teaming up with Henry Cavill's Superman in Justice League 2. I really, this movie, I think it's going to be a big hit. I really think a lot of people are going to get the word of mouth on this movie is going to be strong. But yeah, there we go. That is my top 7 films in the DC cinematic universe, worst to best. Shazam is the best. Man of Steel is the worst. And thanks for watching. Maybe we'll do this again with the Fox X-Men movies. Maybe we'll do worst to best Fox X-Men. What do you think? Maybe. Very interesting thing, though. Disney Marvel has announced that all the X-Men are going to be recast when they join the cinematic universe, except Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. So that begs the question. I did the top 21 films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Should I have included Deadpool 1 and 2? Because it sounds like Deadpool 1 and 2 are retroactively going to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I may have left 2 MCU films out that we didn't even know were MCU films. Interesting. But there we go. Top 7 DC Cinematic Universe. Shazam opens this weekend. Please go see it. Support that movie. That movie deserves your support. It is so good. And keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas with the plastic feet. Keep wearing those pajamas. Tell everyone you meet. Keep wearing those pajamas with the back door flap. Keep wearing those pajamas. Don't open, it's a trap. Oh no, it's a trap. Some people call them PJs, some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander pajamas, but no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now we're having fun. Keep wearing those pajamas. And now the song is done.